The following program is a presentation of WHRW's Public Affairs Department. The views expressed are those of the show's host and various guests and may not reflect the views of WHRW's management or of other WHRW station members. This program may contain frank language and/or material. Therefore, we advise you to carefully consider whether you or your children should listen.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Weekday Wellness Update on WHRW. My name is Emma Hunter and I'm a health educator at Binghamton University. Now, as you can probably tell from the title of the show, discussion surrounds health and wellness, and the cornerstone or a cornerstone to health and wellness is safety. So to talk more about that and share with us the services that make Binghamton University so safe, I have the honor of speaking with Binghamton University's Deputy Chief of Police, Madeline Bay. Hi, Madeline.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So I want to start by reading something, maybe like it's kind of a quiz, I guess, a pop quiz for you, and then discussing it. So here we go. Quote, "You have the right to remain silent. Anything you can say or you say, can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be provided for you. Do you understand the rights I have just read you? With these rights in mind, do you wish to speak to me?"
What? That's your Miranda rights.
Okay, and so you said something interesting to me. You said that you don't always have to read them, and as a movie connoisseur and having seen 21 Jump Street, I thought that if you didn't do that, you couldn't arrest somebody.
No, you can arrest somebody and not read the Miranda rights. Basically, there are two things that we need if you have to have Miranda rights, and that is, number one, be in custody, and the second is to be questioned while you're in custody. So I can have somebody in custody, but if I saw everything that they did, and I have no need to question them because I saw everything, I don't have to read the Miranda rights.
Oh, I did not know that. And how?
Or if they're not in custody yet, I can start asking them questions, but once I say you can't go anywhere, then I have to stop and then read Miranda rights.
And how often, what percentage of the time do you think you have to read them on campus?
We probably do it 50-50.
Okay. Wow. All right. I thought that was neat. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, so everything you see on TV with the cuffing and stuff and putting in the car while they're reading Miranda rights, no, that's just for show.
Okay. Okay. So I thought we'd open with you telling us a little bit about your title and your role here on campus.
Okay. I'm Deputy Chief of Police, so I'm one of the management people in a department. I've been a police officer here for almost 28 years. I started out as an officer. I was promoted to lieutenant. I did administrative lieutenant and now deputy chief. And my role is, a lot of it is a liaison. I supervise our lieutenants who then supervise the officers, but I go to a lot of the meetings on campus that have to do with the safety of the students, about planning special events. I do a lot of education, so I teach a lot of, especially faculty staff, since I'm here during the day, about safety, self-defense, what to do when you survive an active shooter, things like that. I teach the RAD class, the rape, aggression, defense for self-defense. So a lot of that kind of stuff, too.
Wow. And you had been telling me that you have a master's in health education, so
yeah.
You were able to kind of combine these two, unique but at the same time very similar fields.
Yes, very much.
That must be awesome. And what got you into it originally? So you got a master's in health. What happened? What's going on?
I'm a third-generation cop. My dad was a Suffolk County cop on Long Island. His uncle was a New York City cop. So, part of me is I always interested in law enforcement. But I figured, well, you need a degree to teach, so let's go be a teacher. And then I wound up working with the campus police at Cortland, and it kind of got me into this. And like I said, I loved it because I've been able to combine law enforcement and teaching.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And in your opinion, what makes working on a campus so special as opposed to maybe working for a city police department?
I think part of it is that we're dealing with our student population who are already in a learning environment. So if we can teach, while they're at this point where they're still, able to learn and wanting to learn, and see those light bulbs go off, it's yeah, that was a better thing to do. Maybe I should stop at that stop sign, or, yeah, that was a mistake I made, but let's make it so we don't do it again. So we try and find teachable moments when we're still enforcing the law, so that people, don't just say, oh yeah, I got my ticket and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
That learning environment is really good. And here on campus versus, I say, City of Binghamton, we've got time. We're not going call to call to call to call. So we have time to spend an hour with somebody to figure out, hey, yeah, let's get you to the counseling center. Let's talk about what happened. Let's, see what's going on, and maybe do some little social work while we're here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And in that vein, or in a similar vein, can you share with me, I guess, the mission of the Binghamton University Police Department?
The mission is to provide a safe environment. One of the biggest things is just, like I said, being here, being that visible essence of police officers that, yeah, if we see bad guys, we're going to stop them. We're going to take care of that so that you can be here safely. We're all going to protect life. We're going to protect property. We're going to keep law and order going on here on campus.
Absolutely. And it looks like your department offers a ton of services to students. I know you mentioned a bit at the beginning some of the classes that you teach, but I'm interested in learning more about three main programs. The first one being the Safe Ride program.
Okay. The Safe Ride is combined with our escort program. So that, say you're in the library at 10 or 11 o'clock at night, your friends have abandoned you, and you decide to buckle down and stay there and study, but then you decide to go home, and you're like, oh, it's dark out, it's scary out. I don't want to walk by myself all the way up the hillside or somewhere. What can I do? Well, you can either call for a walking escort by calling 7SAFE or our office 2393, and we'll send a walking escort, somebody with a radio, someone who's in contact with us, somebody we've done background checks on, but they're fellow students, and they'll give you door-to-door service from the library tower or wherever you are to your door at a hillside or wherever you are. We also have a van that just drives around in circles all around campus that you can go to the roadway, flag it down, and get a ride across campus.
And what does this van look like?
It's a green minivan. It has a little strobe light on top. It has big white letters that says Safe Ride. Can't miss it.
And if you were, I don't know, if, let's say you're at a place on campus that the van doesn't stop, can you call it, or how does that work?
It basically goes around and through all the parking lots and the roadways, almost all over campus, and basically everywhere. But like I said, it's not going to go into the middle of CIW. It's not going to go into the middle of Hinman. So it doesn't get the door-to-door service like a walking escort was. But it's going to get you close enough.
Okay. And then sprinkled all over the campus, and I think at the downtown center, too, are these blue lights, right? Can you talk to me about what they are?
Yeah, they're blue lights, and that they have blue light bulbs. You can see them at night. At waist high, they're yellow boxes, says emergency. And we've got over 80 across campus. We even have one, like I said, downtown center. We have one at the OCC bus garage that's in Vestal. So that if you need our help right away and you can't remember our phone number to call, or you don't have a phone, your cell phone died, somebody stole it, whatever, grab it, open this box. You don't have to dial anything. You pick it up. It automatically dials our dispatcher here on campus, 911, and we know where you are because we have a readout on our phone. And if you don't, if somebody's following you, you don't feel safe, you leave that one, you go to the next one, we'll head you off at the pass.
Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
And do the Safe Ride and the escort programs, do they stop at a certain time, or are they 24/7?
The van runs from 9 at night till 3 in the morning. The students work from 9 till 1. We even have escorts downtown as well at the downtown centers. They go to the local parking garages, again, 9 till 1. But the service is available 24/7.
Okay. So
2 in the afternoon, hey, your ex is following you, saying that they're going to texted you and said, I'm going to be at your car just, to get you. But you have to get to your car and you don't want to wait. Call us. We'll take you to your car. We'll get you there safely.
Okay, perfect. So one thing I saw on the website was that it seemed pretty very big and bold, was that the University Police Department says you're a fully functioning police department. Mm-hmm. So what does this mean? Why did you guys feel like you had to highlight this?
To say that, yes, we are the real police.
Okay.
That we're just like you, trained and qualified, certified, just like your hometown police department, just like Binghamton, just like the state troopers, just like county sheriff's deputies. We go to the same academy as the local police agencies. Probably about half our department actually teaches at the academy as well.
Wow.
We're that well respected in this area that we teach all the other police officers how to be cops.
Wow. Okay. All right, cool. And another thing I saw was this emergency alert system. I'm not sure if you can sign up for it, or what is that all about?
It's the Be Alert system that you can go on to the BU Brain and sign up for it. You can do a search, Be Alert, and you can put in your phone number, your email address, so that if there's something happening on campus where we need to send out an emergency alert, it seems kind of redundant to say that, we can send out text messages, emails. We'll take over the radio station if we put out, things on here if we have to. BTV, all the electronic signs, and say, hey, go, there's something happening, find shelter, whatever. One of the best examples we had was a couple of years ago during summer orientation. There were tornadoes hitting in the area.
Wow, okay.
And there was one heading our way. It hit Owego, which is like 10 miles west of here. And like I said, it was heading towards campus. So we sent out the alert, got everybody down into the basements to safety. And then, 10 minutes later, we were able to send out another alert saying, all clear, it's all good,
Incredible.
And like I said, it just worked perfectly.
And I know you had said that now that you've kind of, been promoted up, you're maybe not responding to as many calls, but what do you think most calls are responding to here on campus?
Most of what we're seeing, most of our officers going are either drug and alcohol calls or harassment or theft.
Okay.
That's the majority. But we see the full gamut of everything.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said something about ramen and the microwave. That seems to be something as well.
We respond to every fire alarm on campus, and probably almost 90% are food related. You got to put the water in the ramen noodles and the mac and cheese cups.
Okay, I got it. Noted. And then I also saw something along with that you're a fully functioning police department, that this whole thing about community policing, and I'd never heard of that before, and I was wondering about what your involvement was.
Community policing goes back a couple hundred years, actually.
Whoops.
Yes, Sir Edmund Peel. And the police is the community, and the community is the police. Okay. And basically, it's us working with our community, knowing who our community is, knowing who our clientele, if you want to say, so that we work together, we have a good relationship. So if there's crime out there, we let you know what's going on. And then if you see something, you have enough trust in us to call us, to tell us, and to hopefully, help your neighbor in that sense.
And if you were worried about retaliation or something like that, it looks like you offer this a place on your website to report an anonymous crime?
Yes, we do.
So what's that about?
So like I said, mainly exactly what you said. If you're afraid of retaliation, a lot of times we'll get a lot of drug tips. Hey, your roommate is smoking this and you don't like it anymore. You tried to deal with your RA or this. And he's like, hey, it's time to blow him into the cops kind of thing. You can do that. Or if we get anonymous tips about other things. Some people have reported sexual assaults that way because they want to report it, but they don't want to have their name out there. They want to remain anonymous, but they still think it's important enough to tell us what's going on.
And is this something that's seen instantaneously or needs maybe 24 hours
It
or
might
so?
need a few hours because, like I said, we're are the main people who are looking at the chiefs and our investigators, working 9 to 5.
Okay.
So don't report emergencies that way.
Okay. Got
Emergencies, please call 911.
Okay, you got it. So now one thing near and dear to my heart is crosswalk safety as I drive on this campus and walk and even drive a golf cart.
Yes.
So I'm curious and I'm confused because I think I'm messing it up. But who has the right of way when? Can you break it down for me?
Okay. If you are a pedestrian and you are already in the crosswalk, you have right of way.
Those big lines, right?
Those big lines. Okay. If you are a pedestrian and you have not stepped yet into the crosswalk, you're still on the curb, the car has the right of way. So you can't just, walk blindly in. You still have to stop, look both ways, and then if it's safe to do so, then enter the crosswalk. Then once you're in there, you have right of way.
So what if I'm in the crosswalk and then I just kind of float outside of the crosswalk listening to my music or whatever? Is it still my right of way? Or now is it the car?
Hopefully cars, technically it's one of those things that technically if you're not in the crosswalk, you don't have right of way. But hopefully the cars have seen you and slowed down anyway. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we have such a low speed limit on this campus. It's only 20 for the most part, where all the pedestrians are by the lecture hall and libraries especially, that, most of the time the cars can't even get through because there's so many people,
And when I'm tearing around in a golf cart, should I be on the sidewalks, in the road?
The golf carts, you should be on the roads, okay, until you have to get into those doors where you're allowed to go a little slower to the, on the sidewalk areas. But for the most part, if you're just going around campus, you should be on the roadways.
Okay.
Obeying the same traffic laws as your regular car.
I'm sure a lot of people are going to appreciate me now knowing that. So another thing I really want to talk about, I thought was super interesting, was the New York State 911 Good Samaritan law. Because I think this is so important, especially for the college population.
Oh, absolutely.
So can you tell me what it is? Basically,
it says that if you are intoxicated, if you're on the influence of drugs, and you call for assistance, we're not going to arrest you. Our main priority is getting you that assistance you need, especially medical assistance. We're going to get you, if you're on campus, get Harper's Ferry, an ambulance, whatever you need. And I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you're surrounded by drugs. I'm not going to stop and, hey, you're got all those kind of drugs. No, my main concern is that you need medical assistance. I'm going to get it for you. Doesn't mean I'm not going to seize all those drugs and take them, okay? But I'm not going to arrest you. It's illegal for me to arrest you for that, okay? But that's New York State's had that law since 2011. We've had that policy here on campus longer than I've been here, so longer than the 28 years. We've had that policy.
Oh, wow.
That, you don't even go through conduct. Yeah, there are exceptions, if you're dealing the drugs, that kind of thing, or if you have a certain amount. But even then, our main concern is getting you. We don't want to find somebody face down in a snowbank, intoxicated because somebody was afraid to call for help. That's the thing. We don't want somebody afraid to call for help because, we're going to get in trouble because we're only 17, or, we're not 21 yet, or, gee, I got all these drugs and some, they're going to call my parents. No. If you need medical help, call. And you can call for a friend. So it doesn't even have to be you. It has to be, your friend can call for you, and nobody's going to get arrested.
And is there a fine line? Like, let's say you yourself are under the influence and you think your friend is in worse shape than they are. You make a call, everybody shows up, your friend's fine. Is it still hold true?
Yeah.
Okay, so just the intent is that you think that somebody is in medical harm. Okay.
So better safe than sorry.
Okay.
Make the call. If you did think, should I call, should I not? Make the call.
So you've said that it was here from before you got to campus, because I was going to ask, and I don't know if you know about this, if you've seen or if there's been studies or any differences before, pre this law, post this law. Do you think it really does have an effect?
I think so. I think law enforcement has gotten more calls for it.
Okay.
As a result. And like I said, therefore a lot of people have had their lives saved.
And in New York State, it's this encompasses the entire state, correct? Okay, but because I think I saw it said about 31 states have it. So hopefully it'll start picking up some tread, because it seems to be really important. And I think especially with Parade Day and St. Patrick's Day on the horizon, it's probably really important for people to know about this.
Right.
Any other kind of alcohol or drug safety tips, knowing that these 2 days are coming up?
The main thing is knowing your limits, okay? Being with people who can call for help if you need it. Knowing that you don't need to get totally trashed to have a good time. You can have no alcohol whatsoever and still have a wonderful time with your friends at Parade Day or any day here. That, we too often see so many students intoxicated, having to go to the hospital, and then they're all worried about, mom and dad and things like that. And it's like, you can have a good time without getting drunk, without getting trashed, or having it a point where you still have full faculties and control of everything that's going on. You don't have to worry about being, walking in the middle of a road, getting hit by a car, or being a crime victim because somebody's taking advantage of your intoxication.
And if someone were downtown or off of Binghamton University property and they needed help, would they still call campus police?
Off campus, they call the local police. So they can just call 911, and depending on where they are, the local dispatch for Broome County will determine whether it's Binghamton Police or Johnson City or whoever you are.
Okay.
But they also know that they have to abide the Good Samaritan law as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so how can students contact UPD? I mean, I'm guessing you probably have a social media presence, but so you can maybe tell me a little bit about that, and then also some phone numbers for people? Well,
the main thing is, in emergency, you want to dial 911. From a campus phone, if you dial 911, you'll get our dispatch center, okay, which is fine. If you dial 911 from your cell phone, which most people have now, and that's probably the only thing people have now, you will get the Broome County dispatch, which is fine if that's all you can remember. But first thing you should say if you're on campus is, hey, I'm at Binghamton University. Not SUNY Binghamton, because they're nearby. There's a SUNY Broome, and there's been some mix-ups. So I'm at Binghamton University, and go from there. And they'll either take your information and call us, or they'll transfer you to us. If you want to program your phone to 777-2222 or 777-2393, that's our numbers as well here on campus, so you'll know you get us directly.
Can you say that to me one more time, those two numbers?
777-2222 is for emergency, and then 777-2393 for non-emergency is how to get a hold of us here on campus. But like I said, if all you can remember is 911, call it.
And they'll direct you right to you. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Perfect. And then Twitter and Facebook, or where are
Twitter,
you?
our chief is on Twitter.
Oh.
So our chief sends out a whole bunch of Twitter messages at least once or twice a week that, with safety messages, with things that are happening, a lot of our community policing efforts. Last week he sent out a picture of a couple of our officers donating blood, things like that. He loves getting replies and retweets and everything like that. We do have a Facebook page as well that, again, we try and put our pictures of our different efforts out there or any kind of alerts that's going on. But don't use those to report crimes or anything like that. Report those, go to those, say hi to us, respond, whatever, but don't use those to report any kind of crime.
And where are you actually located on campus?
Our office is in the ground floor of the Cooper Administration Building.
Did you enter from the back of the building, or do you go right through the main entrance?
24, we're open 24 hours. The back door where our patrol cars are, that's always open. So that one's open 24/7. During the day, Monday through Friday, until 6 p.m., you can come in the front doors and just go downstairs. Either way. But the back door is always open.
And if a student were interested in becoming involved in your department in some way, not necessarily, trained to be a police officer, but maybe working for the escort program or something like that. What opportunities do you have for students?
Yeah, that's basically it, is the escort program. That we would hire students. We do a little background. Obviously, we don't want to hire students that have, we've arrested or have warrants or things like that, and they have to have a good driver's license to drive the van. But we'll train them to do that kind of thing. We usually do the fall and the spring, the new semesters. We'll do new hiring.
And then as far as classes go that some students could take, I know you said you instruct one class. Do you think you could tell me a little bit more about that and how someone could get involved if they were interested?
Yeah, we teach the RAD class, Rape, Aggression, Defense, and it's through the Health and Wellness Studies. It's for women only, but it's 2 credits, and it fills up quick. And
Really?
and
Okay.
we try and get it for freshmen, because we think they'll need it first. But anybody can ask us to teach a class. Like I said, we do a lot of classes in the residence halls, whether it's self-defense or the personal safety, party safety, how to, like I said, what to do when you stop by the police, or how to survive an active shooter, things like that.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I had the great pleasure of you coming to speak to my class. And I know that you instilled a lot of wisdom in us, certainly about with theft, which I thought was interesting. You said, I don't know if you remember it, but do you remember what you told me that I thought was really interesting about preventable theft?
Yeah, probably theft is probably the most preventable crime on campus. And again, a high percentage is really just opportunistic. You can't just leave your stuff laying around, your $1,000 laptop computer or your $700 iPhone. You can't just go to the library, the dining halls, put stuff on the table, go get another book, or go get food, because you come back at 5 minutes later, it's going to be gone. You have to take it with you. You can't even ask the person at the next table if you're in the library, hey, can you watch my stuff? Because that's who's going to steal it. If you're by yourself, you got to pack it up and go to the bathroom, take it with you. You got to do it.
Right.
Almost. I've been here, like I mentioned before, 28 years. I don't know, hundreds of reports I've taken. One time was the room broken into. Every other time it was just somebody went in, took something, walked out. Room was unlocked, open, or just somebody left stuff out and about.
And at that point, if you say you were in the library, you went to grab another cup of coffee, you came back, your computer's gone, how likely is it that you'll actually find the person who did it?
Every now and then we do, and it has to do with being able to log in and using resources like with the computer center, where we can track some things that way. And like I said, or somebody has the Find My Phone on their iPhone, and we'll watch it, go across campus, things like that. And we'll try and head people off that way.
Okay. So before we wrap up and get out of here, I want to give you the floor to, tell our students or our community or anyone just some advice. You've been doing this for, you said 28 years. There must be a few things that seem incredibly obvious to you and just are apparently not to everyone else. Yeah. So what do you have to say?
I think a lot has to do is just, thinking about what you're doing. Like I said, if you're going downtown, think about who you're with, think about where you're going, think about how you're getting back. Think about, do you want to hook up with somebody or not ahead of time? And then what's the plan? Thinking about how much alcohol you're going to drink and what that does. If you decide, hey, 5 of you going downtown, one of you is a designated sober person. And that way that one person can keep an eye on, people and say, oh, no, don't go with him, he's a loser, or go, don't do that, or time to cut you off, that kind of thing. And the following week, a different person's the designated sober person. That way everybody stays safe, And I think that really is key, is everybody taking care of each other. And that goes back to that community policing and the neighborhood watch, or whatever you want to call it, is taking care of each other. And if you see something that doesn't look right, doesn't seem right, don't just ignore it and say, it's not my problem. It is your problem. It's your neighborhood. These are your friends. These are the people that, you're hoping to count on. And by telling these things, whether it's the police or somebody else or your RA, maybe we can do something about it so nobody gets hurt.
Excellent. Great. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
So I think that's about all the time we have, but a big thank you to you, Deputy Chief of Police Madeline Bay. It's wonderful to see all the measures that are put in place to keep our campus safe. So also a big thank you to the Binghamton University Police Department as a whole, working so tirelessly to provide this cornerstone, safety, and making us a healthy campus. So this is your host, Emma Hunter. I'm getting out of here. We will be off next week in honor of spring break, but I will be back the following Tuesday at the same time for the Weekday Wellness Update here on WHRW.